Shabbat Sholom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's kind of a younger crowd. This is nice. Should all go out afterwards, go dancing or do whatever you young folk do.
And we'll come to.
We're going to begin on page 128.
Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. And right below Hine ma tov is Ma yafeh hayom. How beautiful is this day? Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Page 131, Psalm 96. Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash. We sing unto God a new song.
Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Pasru miyom le'yom Yeshuato, Safru v'goyim, Kevodo b'chol ha'amim, Nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umhulal me'od, Norahu, Al ko Elohim, ay, 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 alay, la, 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 ay, la, la, la,
We'll turn back in our prayer books to page 121. Let's come join together as we stand around the Shabbos candles for the blessing and the lighting of the candles. Come stand with us. Say that joke for 20 years.
And it's still funny.
As soon as they stop laughing, So the question's always asked, why do we light more than one candle on Shabbos? Back in the days of the shtetl, that was the light that they had with the candles, but we would light an additional candle, not only to add to the brightness and the warmth, but also to allow time for us to linger at the table, have a longer conversation. The candles could burn a little later into the night so that families could spend more time together, gathered around the table and in conversation and connection. And many families will light one candle for each child in the home. You don't have to have only two, you can have as many as you want, but more than one. So we'll do a reading and then we'll do the blessing together. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. And as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Shanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Take a moment before you go back to your seats. Find somebody that you don't know and just introduce yourself to them for a minute. We'll get to the service.
Shabbat Shalom. Pretty good.
You're good, Steve?
Page 138, 138, Lachadodi.
Lecha dodi likrot kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad l'shemo tiferet letehila lecha dodi likrot kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat techila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch hafecha Rav lach shevet be'amecha bacha v'hu yacham lo alaychem lo lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela
Verse 5.
Hitoreri, kiva orech, kumi ori, ori, shir daberi, kavod Adonai, alayich nigla, lecha
We'll rise and face the door to greet the Sabbath bride.
Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala Kam besimcha uv'tahala Toch emune am segula Boi chala Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela
Be seated. We'll continue with Shalom Aleichem, page 142. Or no?
Sure.
No, actually, I'm wrong. Sorry. Well, let's rise again. Sorry. Page 2. You got to get your cardio in tonight. Page 263. The Baruch, the Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'almadi v'rachute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon v'yom echon u'v'chayei lechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala u'v'zman kariv ve'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam olam me'almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalel shemei dekudesha barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram be'alma ve'imeru. Amen.
We'll remain standing, page 264.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
Can be seated. We'll read together in the Hebrew, page 265, a prayer for evening. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach sharim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim b'mishrotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila. Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta. Torah mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shoch beinu kumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha leolam leolam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nehege yomam v'layla ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
There's an old joke or folklore story in Jewish tradition about a synagogue that's discussing whether we stand or sit for the Shema. And these Jews are together and they say, well, in our synagogue we stand for the Shema, in our synagogue we sit for the Shema, and the third Jew comes and says, in our synagogue we argue over whether we stand or sit for the Shema. And though it's supposed to be funny, there's actually a lot of truth to it, in that our tradition has struggled with what do we do, what position should you be in when you say the Shema. In fact, if you look at the footnote on page 267, the last 4 lines or so of it sort of articulate a machlochet, a debate that takes place in the Talmud between Rabbi Yochanan, who says that we should rise for not only for the Shema, but for the entire first paragraph of the Shema, including the Ve'ahavta, and then the Talmudic custom, the minhag, to be seated for the Shema. The truth is that the challenge lies actually in the words that come after the Shema and later on in the Ve'ahavta, when you lie down and when you rise up. So some read that and say, well, when you rise up you should stand, and others, when you lie down you should be seated. And the answer from our tradition actually is that whatever position you are in, that's the position you remain in, that you don't have to change your position in order to say this proclamation of Jewish faith. And there's some practicality that comes from that, because of all of the statements that exist within our Siddur, within our prayer book, the Shema is the one that has been for so many Jews the watchword of our people, a source of comfort, a source of pride, and at times actually the final words the Jew will say before they die. And you don't have to change your position to be able to do that. And so in whatever place or wherever we are, it is there for us to proclaim not only the oneness of God, but the unity of God in all things. And so I invite you to sit or to stand as is appropriate for you, to follow the custom perhaps of just remaining seated, but more than moving yourself physically is to move yourself spiritually, to be in the proper frame of mind, to Shema Yisrael, to quite literally to hear and to listen to the words as we proclaim them. Page 267.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. לבבך, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Emet.
We can remain on the page that we're on. I'm going to read a reading from a different portion in our Siddur that's an introduction to the Michamocha that we're about to chant together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 270, Micha Mocha, as our people marched from slavery to freedom through the parted seas.
Micha Mocha Beilim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot O Seifele, Nora Tehilot O Seifele, Malchutecha Rahuvanecha, Bokei Hayom Lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. V'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen.
Page 272, Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. Yam bada bim bam bye, Shabbat Shabbat, yam bada bim bam bye, Shabbat Shabbat, yam bada bim bam bye, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash yom b'davim bambai Shabbat Shabbat yom b'davim bambai Shabbat Shabbat yom b'davim bambai Shabbat 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 Shalom.
Adonai Sefetai Tivtach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Eternal God, help us find the words that we might speak with you in prayer. We rise, page 274, the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geolah Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayim Etim Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayim Etim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memid Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emana Talachayot Meitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaMeitim
276.
Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh Ukdoshim b'chol yom yalalucha salha Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated, page 277, the bottom bit of the page there.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Ritzevi menuchateinu Kadshenu b'mitzvotecha V'tein chelkeinu b'toratecha Saveinu mituvecha V'samcheinu b'shuatecha V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu V'taher libeinu le'avdecha b'emet V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu V'taher libeinu le'avdecha be'emet V'anchileinu Adonai Eloheinu Be'ahava v'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha Ve'anuchu v'Yisrael Mekadshei shmecha Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Page 278, a reading for Keith Taussig. No, sorry. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amecha Yisrael U'tefilatam ratzon, tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha, El Karov Lecho, Korov Penei, El Avadecha Vechoneinu, Shefach Ruchacha, Aleinu, V'techezena Heineinu, Veshuvecha Letzion, Berachamim, Baruch Atah Adonai, HaMachazir Shechinato Letzion, Letzion, Letzion.
We take a moment in our service at this time on page 281 for our prayers of Hoda'ah of thanksgiving. Coming as we are, though it's not a Jewish holiday, but just past Valentine's Day, I want to give a frame for us as we take a moment to reflect in gratitude, to think about all of the people in your life that you love and all the people that love you. Take a moment for your prayers of gratitude for those that you love and that love you, and then we'll join together with our cantor in a prayer of acknowledging those blessings.
Ve'yal kulam, ve'yal kulam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Shimcha Malkeinu, Tamid le'olam va'ed, ve'yal kulam, ve'yal kulam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Shimcha Malkeinu, Tamid le'olam va'ed. V'chol achem yodu chasela, v'hallelu et shimcha be'emet, Ha'el Yeshuateinu ve'ezrateinu salah, Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha, Hatov Shimcha, Ulecha, Ulecha Naeh lehodot.
Take a moment for our own private prayers.
Amen, 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 amen. Amen, amen, amen. Oh, amen, 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 amen. Amen, amen, amen. Amen, amen. Amen, 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 amen.
We turn to page 371 for Misha Berach, a prayer for healing, as we ask God's blessing of healing and strength and renewal and recovery on Sheldon Cole, Sylvia Polsky, Alan Kay, Vern Simpson, Maureen Newman, Florence Bayton, Leonard Gold and Carol Gold, Neil Tapley, Molly Steiner, Ellen Barbary, Bella Sherman, Michael Cavell, and Yana Timko. If there are others in need of this prayer for healing, if you could rise and share their name by one in the congregation as well.
Doreen Rosen, Rai Hershenhorn, Chava Batrut.
We'll join together page 371, the Misha Berach, a prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Draw your attention to the announcements. Hopefully you took the handout as you came in. Lots going on this week at the synagogue. We have services tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then on Sunday is religious school, and Sunday evening is our fundraiser for the year and our event, Choir. If you don't have tickets yet, you can watch online. We are completely sold out, and I've been told by the office, because they know that I do this sometimes, not to just invite people to come, because we have no more room. Sold 430 some odd tickets. But it's going to be a wonderful evening of singing together, of community, and a fundraiser for the synagogue to help support our outreach programs and all the things that we do at the temple. After Sunday, there's Minyan on Monday morning at 7:45, and on Wednesday afternoon, I'm hosting one of two book discussions. Wednesday's at my home, and then the following week or so is at the synagogue. A book is called Here All Along by Sarah Hurwitz. It's one of the most fantastic books I've read this year, Jewish books I've read this year. I read a lot of science fiction. Those have been good too, but we're not doing a book discussion on that. There's still time to read it if you can get it on your Kindle or something. It's really a wonderful exploration of this young woman in her mid-30s. She was Michelle Obama's chief speechwriter, and she rediscovered her Judaism after going to a synagogue Introduction to Judaism course, after breaking up with her boyfriend and had nothing to do on Tuesday nights, and found what she had been missing from her Hebrew school days. So I really encourage you to read the book, and you're certainly welcome to come to my home or here to the synagogue for one of the discussions. The Jewish Film Festival begins this week on Thursday night with the premiere, is that right? Sorry, 27th. Right, it's Thursday, yes. Thursday night's the premiere. Wednesday night, the 26th at the synagogue in the evening, JAX, which is the Jewish Addiction and Counseling Services, is hosting, along with Jewish Family Services and Tikva Housing, an evening of optimism and hope, addressing and erasing the stigma of mental illness, addiction, and homelessness in our society. We have a panel discussion with three wonderful speakers from the Jewish community. That begins at 7 o'clock here at the synagogue. This coming weekend is one of our Scholar-in-Residence weekends. Rabbi Bruce Aft will be our Scholar-in-Residence and one of the scholars for Limud Vancouver. So Friday night, the 28th, we have an early Shabbat service, our Kavanah service, our musical Shabbat, followed by a Shabbat dinner and discussion with Rabbi Aft. Rabbi Aft was my camp rabbi growing up. He was at Judah's Bar Mitzvah, if you remember, one of the rabbis that spoke. He was the funny one. He's going to speak on Friday night. He's going to speak on Saturday. He's a Reconstructionist rabbi, so he's going to share a little bit about Reconstructionist Judaism as well. And then he's also speaking at Limud Vancouver. Much more going on, but that's already into the following week. So hopefully you'll take this home with you and see all that's happening at the synagogue. Any announcements that I missed? Okay, remember, Jewish Film Festival and Limud Vancouver all this week. Exciting stuff. So last week we read Parshat Yitro. Some of you were here, I remember you, which is a bit of a misnomer. I mean, it's named after Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, but it really contains within it the most central, you could state, of all of the passages in Torah, which is the Ten Commandments and that Sinai moment of revelation. It's a separate sermon to talk about how a portion of the Torah which contains such a prominent and important passage is named after a non-Jewish Midianite priest. And there's actually some wonderful insight into that and the inclusivity that I think our tradition is trying to demonstrate there. But I want to talk a little bit about this week's Torah portion, which is not the Ten Commandments, but the stuff that comes after. So there's those who mistakenly believe that it is only those 10 precepts, those 10 commandments, which we must most meticulously observe in order to be Jewish. This week's Torah portion would poke a hole in that theory, because in this week we read Parshat Mishpatim, which means laws, and it teaches us that there are many, many other mitzvot, or commandments, which also obligate us as Jews to live our lives in accordance with God's Torah. And the Torah portion begins with Ve'ele HaMishpatim. And I want to emphasize the part of that, the Vav, that begins this Torah portion. That is the letter that means and in Hebrew. And so the Torah portion begins, and these are the laws. Of all the letters in the Hebrew alphabet, the Vav, which is the second smallest letter, does anybody know the first smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet? Levi? The tiny little Yud. The tiny little Yud. I know you all had it. You all had it. The Vav is the second smallest letter, but it is the most powerful letter in the entire Hebrew alphabet, and probably it's the most powerful letter in any language, or at least most powerful word. The Vav stands for the word and. And so our Torah portion begins, and these are the laws. That tiny Vav is the connector. Like people who are connectors, the Vav brings two sometimes seemingly unrelated things together in partnership, in connection, in relationship with each other. And in this week's Torah portion, that powerful little Vav works its magic of connecting twice two very important concepts in our parsha. The first is, as I mentioned, the very beginning of our Torah portion, Ve'ele HaMishpatim, and these are the laws. The classic commentators note that the and in this context is used here to teach us that just as those laws, the 10 commandments from last week, are important and were given at Mount Sinai, so were these laws that are being read in this week's Torah portion. In fact, there are 56 of the 613 commandments exist just in this Torah portion alone. By these laws, the Vav means to include the entire rest of all the commandments of the Torah. Not only those that come after that Sinai moment, but even the commandments that happened earlier on. We say in Torah commentary, Ein mukdam ve'ein muchar b'Torah. There's no early and there's no late in Torah. And so by this Torah portion saying, and these are the laws, it really is trying to include all of the commandments in Torah as being, their origin is coming from that Sinai moment, that moment of covenant between God and the Jewish people. But the Torah portion itself, Mishpatim, mostly deals with mundane matters, not the kind of fun laws that you would associate with the Ten Commandments, for example. So there's laws regarding how to treat fellow human beings. There's laws about damages. There's laws about breaking and entering, how to treat one's servants. There's laws about lending money to others. There's even laws about misplaced oxen and what happens if your neighbor's ox should happen into your field and die. But none of these laws are any less important than the Ten Commandments. Many years ago, I dealt with a congregant, a woman who was troubled by a seemingly observant sister who was mistreating her. The sister had defrauded her parents of money and spread rumors about her and made her life really quite miserable. The congregant said that she felt guilty about talking to her about these things because her sister was so pious. She was a religious Jew living in Israel. And this sister meticulously observed Shabbat and Kashrut, sent her children to yeshiva, to Orthodox Jewish day school. How could she possibly speak poorly about her sister who was so pious and observant? And I explained that someone who does the things that her sister does cannot be considered pious. She may be outwardly observant about ritual requirements, but Judaism demands that we should be just as mindful about how we treat our fellow human beings as we are about the mitzvot that focus our attention on God. The mitzvot are, I said to her, both vertical, in that many of the commandments are bein adam l'makom, between human beings and God, and others are horizontal, bein adam l'chavero, between us and our fellow. And it's not enough to be right with God and wrong with people, I said. Nor is it enough to be right with people and wrong with God. Our faith demands and right with people and right with God. Our faith demands that we observe all of the mitzvot to the best of our ability, and that we leave neither God nor our fellow human being out of the equation. Once again, that vav, that word and, the most powerful of words in any language. The second instance of the power of that letter vav and that word and occurs a bit later in our parsha, when the Israelites are presented with the covenant and the whole Torah. In perhaps the first and last instance in Jewish history where a Jewish lawyer was not present when a contract was presented, Moses reads the entire brit, the entire covenant to the Jewish people, and the Jewish people, they respond by saying, Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do it, and then we'll listen to it afterwards. We'll do it and we'll read the fine print later. Essentially meaning that we'll study the details later on, but we agree to it without reading. The sages must have been aware of just how strange this expression sounded to their contemporaries at the time. And a story is told of a Sadducee, one of the sects of Judaism around this biblical period, who criticized a rabbi, Rabbi Zerah, for swimming across the Jordan River rather than waiting for a boat to take him to the promised land. By the way, if you've been to Israel and you've been to the Jordan River, you could walk across the Jordan River. It's not deep enough really to swim. And the rabbi criticized him by saying this. He said, "Hasty people, you put your mouth before your ears. You are still as ever clinging to your hastiness," referring all the way back to the Sinai moment of Na'aseh v'nishma. Now, for contemporary Jews, for us today, we are also mystified, I think, by this expression of we'll do it and then we'll read it afterwards. It's more likely that we would say, I'll listen to what you've suggested, and then I'll consider it, and maybe I'll do it if I'm good with it. Maybe I'll decide if I'm going to do it. So why is this and, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do it and then we will listen? Why is this and so powerful? Often in life, it's been my experience, probably yours too, that behavior precedes intellectual comprehension, that our actions take precedent over our understanding. It's been my personal experience that you cannot learn to live a Jewish life in a classroom. In fact, all of the attempts at Jewish education since the very first days of the Cheder and the religious school, I believe, have failed for one simple purpose and explanation. And that is that they have one critical flaw. If you or your students do not practice what you preach or teach, then what is being covered is incomprehensible. It's an academic exercise when what is attempted to be conveyed is really a matter of the heart and the soul. Living Jewishly, Jewish living, only begins to make sense when you experience it personally, when with action comes understanding. And I think this is a general truth in life as well. I once took an Israeli friend of mine to a baseball game. It was 2 hours away from camp. He was a camp counselor with me. And so we drove for 2 hours to this baseball game in Binghamton, New York, and I spent the entire 2-hour drive trying to explain baseball to him. Balls and strikes and how the player has to run when they hit the ball, and first base and second base and third base. I even tried to explain the infield fly rule. He was bored out of his mind. And I'm sure he had no idea what I was talking about. In fact, he told me, I have no idea what you're talking about. This makes no sense. Soccer makes sense, or football makes sense. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. But then we got to the game. And after I got him a hot dog and a beer, we watched the game, and he saw why a player had to run to first base and how the pressure changes when you have 2 strikes or 3 balls. He not only understood, but he was engaged in the game and invested in its outcome because he saw it, he did it, he experienced it, not just intellectually, but viscerally and emotionally. And that's how it is with Judaism. Judaism is about doing. To be Jewish, I'm not talking about bloodline here and birthright, but to be Jewish, you have to do Jewish. Judaism is like winning the lottery. I may not win the lottery every time I buy a ticket, but I definitely can't win if I never buy a lottery ticket. Will I hear God's voice every time that I do Jewish? Probably not. Maybe not even most of the time. But like our ancestors, only when we do Jewish will we ever have a chance to experience the joy and the meaning in Judaism. In the doing, we hear God's voice. Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will listen and hear. Someone once asked me, Rabbi, which mitzvot are most important? The ritual commandments or the ethical commandments? And as rabbis are wont to do, I answered their question with my own question. Which is more important if one wants to live, to eat or to breathe? The answer, of course, was obvious. We need to do both, eat and breathe. If one eats yet cannot breathe, one will die, and the same is true for someone who breathes but has nothing to eat. As humans, we need to eat and breathe. Similarly, as Jews, we only live fully when both Jewish ethics and rituals become part of our daily routines. And we should be good to remember what the rabbis taught us. All of the mitzvot, not just the 10 commandments from last week, but the commandments from this week as well, are linked to that Sinai moment, that moment of revelation. And we should never forget the power of the Vav, the power of the and, to teach us that this and this are words of Torah, that this and this add meaning to life. I think really, in truth, life itself, if not Judaism specifically, is all about the Vav. It's all about and. Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues. Page 586 will rise for Aleinu. Thanks.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chohamonam, ve'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei Malach Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim Ve'osed Haaretz U'Moshe Be'karo B'Shamayim Imo U'Shchinatu Zo Be'govei Meromim U'Eloheinu Ein Od Emet Malkeinu Epesulato Kakatu V'Torato Ve'adat Hayom V'Shevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim Imo Ve'aretz Mitachat Einod V'nemar V'Adonai Lemelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo
Please be seated. A reading before the mourner's Kaddish, page 583. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as they live, we too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. The Kaddish prayers on page 598. On this Shabbat, we recall those who died during this past week, these past 30 days, whose families are in the midst of Shiva and Shloshim. As I read the name of your loved one, if you could rise and remain standing. Byron Aceman, Bobby Meisel, Diana Parnell, Avery Plaw. And those for whom the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the death of your loved ones on this Shabbat, if you too could rise as I read their name. Beryl Atnikov, Len Babbins, Jacob Becko, Abe Bell, Gita Tova Bell, Iris Bowman, Michael Bowman, Rose Brown, Cecil Bund, Harvey Cohen, Glenn Dirksen, David Folks, Agnes Gans, Horace Gold, Leslie Harowitz, Siegfried Heilbrunn, Julius Herman, Kenneth James, Nadia Kaplan, Danny Carton, Rita Crivel, Blanca Kuhnberg, David Lagnato, Ann Lampert, Brian Lurcher, Yaakov Levitan, Myron Lurie, Harold Margulis, Judith Mastai, Vera Miller, Dylan Ozer, Sabine Pincus, Ruth Posen, Nate Ratson, Alex Reback, Robert Rowan, Lillian Seelig, Paul Shore, Leonard Shore, Morris Silverman, Malka Smith, Meyer Somech, Marcel Somech, Caroline Spector, George Abraham Steiner, Anna Turiskaya, Solomon Troki, Faye Tubinshalak, Michael Vinitsky, Ed Watchuk, Charles Wexler, Annette White. If there are any names that I've missed or mispronounced, or those who've come to say Kaddish for any reason, if you could rise and share them in the midst of our congregation as well. We look around and see those that have stood in mourning. We don't want them to stand alone, and so we'll stand now by their side, providing the comfort of our presence as we recall all those who've died in defense of freedom and justice, victims of terror in this land, the land of Israel, and around the world, as well as those who died in the Shoah and the Holocaust that have no family left to remember them. We recall them for blessing as well. Page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah v'yalma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon ufayei l'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'maru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yit adar v'yit aleh v'yit alal shemei dekudisha b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata daminron be'alma v'yimaru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav huya asei shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimaru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort the bereaved among us. We say together, amen. The congregation will join us down here at the podium for a kiddush and a motzi, and then we'll adjourn to our social hall for an oneg Shabbat.
boker yom hashishi. Vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzvaham. Vayachal Elohim bayom hashvihi malachto asher asa. Vayishbot bayom hashvihi mikol malachto asher asa. Vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvihi v'yakadesh oto. Ki bo shavat mikol malachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu v'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. Amount of Shabbats I like.
Join together a motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru